Hi, good morning, Manada. Let us come into 8th standard biology. We are in 4th chapter. Apart from this 4th chapter, reproduction in animals. So, do you know already what is mean by reproduction? So, reproduction is a natural life processes which occurs in the living organisms. Obviously, the living organisms are having the ability to reproduce once again their own offsprings in their life period on or before going to death. I mean that every living organism is having the ability to reproduce their own offsprings. So apart from that, reproduction, already in 7th class we learn about reproduction plants. So in 8th standard we are discussing about the reproduction in animals. So in this regard, reproduction in animals, first let us come into the topic modes of reproduction. As you know that the modes of reproduction mainly two kinds. Those are asexual mode of reproduction and the sexual mode of reproduction. So absence of the sexual organs, only the parent which gives rise to dark ones by simplest method like binary fusion in amoeba and hydra yeast budding process we discussed in the previous videos. So here there is no formation of gametes, there is no fusion of the gametes, there is no formation of zygote. Only the parent which gives rise to dark ones. So this is called as a asexual mode of reproduction which occurs in the lower organisms like amoeba and hydra and yeast. So there is a slight difference between the binary fission and budding. After completion of binary fission, there is no mother exists because only two daughters are coming out. But while coming to the budding process, apart from that, these daughter hydra, the mother hydra also exists because of the small bulge will develop into a young one. So both will exist in the budding process like the yeast and the hydra. Whereas coming to the binary fission, there is no mother amoeba, only two daughter amoeba is present. So based on the laying the eggs or giving the directly young ones or childbirth, the organisms are two kinds. Some are oviparous, for example, egg laying organisms like insects, fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, birds. They are called as oviparous. So those are having the some of the external characters options like external ear and the epidermal hair is absent. Those are called as oviparous, the egg laying animals. Viviparous means these organisms like mammals which are having the external ear and the epidermal hair and the skin, they can give directly young ones or childbirth. So these we discussed in the previous videos. Next, coming to the process of fertilization which occurs inside of the female body and outside of the female body based on these characters. The organisms are two kinds. Those are called as external fertilization and internal fertilization. Already in internal fertilization, apart from this, we discussed in this human reproductive system, male reproductive system and female reproductive system. Next, embryo development. Apart from this, in vitro fertilization means test tube babies we discussed in the previous videos. So, internal fertilization is the fertilization which occurs in the inside of the female body. The place we call as fallopian tube or oviduct. It is the exact location of fusion of the male and female gametes in the inside of the female reproductive system. That we call as internal fertilization. Examples like snakes, lizards, insects, and mammals. So let us come into the today's discussion about only this point, external fertilization. So today we are going to discuss about only the session about external fertilization. That means the fertilization is the fusion of the male and female gametes like those sperms and ovules outside of the female body. Outside of the female body. So that process is called as external fertilization which occurs in the fishes and frogs. So male one and female one, obviously they can release the sperms and ovules into the water medium because they have to live in the aquatic mode of life, so that they release the excessive amounts of the huge amounts of sperms and ovules they release into the external media like water medium. Here one more question I would like to ask, why the external fertilization organisms they can produce the more sperms and more ovules? Obviously in coming coming to the internal fertilization, monthly once only one ovum is released. That is called as a ovulation process, ovulation cycle. But here the frogs or fishes, even females also, they can release the more ovumes at a time into the water medium. What is the reason? The reason behind this because the external fertilization is a chance, it's not a probability. So they have less probability to meet or fusion of these male and female gametes, because while they are releasing the sperms and ovumes into the external medium, they have to run off the water. So there is a, here fusion is a chance, there is a probability, so that at least they can produce the huge number of sperms and ovumes, at least one can fuse, they can reproduce once again, and they have to continue their generations. So on behalf of this reason, the external fertilization, organisms like fishes and the frogs, they can release the huge amount of sperms and ovumes into the water medium. Whereas in case of internal fertilization, it is the accuracy, because the millions of sperm count, that means one sperm can fuse with the one ovum in internal fertilization of the female Boviduct or fallopian tube. There is a accuracy. Here there is no chance, there is accuracy, so that one ovum can release monthly once. It is enough to that fusion of the male and female gametes, formation of zygote, and zygote develop into embryo. Embryo leads to fetus, means third month pregnancy. After it leads to the childbirth. So today, after completion of this internal and external fertilization differences, binary fusion and budding differences, oviparous and viviparous differences, asexual and sexual mode of reproduction differences, let us coming to the last topic of this content, reproduction animals. We discuss about the life cycle of the frog. Life cycle of the frog. Children, for this I would like to support the textbook content. For supporting this content, page number 62 in textbook, page number 62, we are having the diagrammatic representation like life cycle of frog. So the adult frog, they are laying the eggs and they are coming to the tadpole larva. After that, so many changes has occurs, and finally it becomes to adult frog. So such a kind of changes will forms. That means many kinds of forms. After completion of these many kinds of forms, then only it comes to that adult frog. So such a process is called as metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. So what is mean by metamorphosis? Metamorphosis in the sense after so many phases. Metamorphosis is a word given to that. So meta means beyond, morph means forms. So such animals undergo a process called as metamorphosis. Means the adult frog lay the eggs, and the eggs are hatching out in the water medium. Means that the external fertilization, the fusion of the male and female gametes are fused in the water medium. After goes to that tadpole larva, which is closely resembled to that look like a frog. They are having the vegetarian, and they are feeding on the some of the herbal plants, and they are respire through the gills, having the tails and fins. So it is closely look like a fish. So gradually they are coming to the forelimbs and hind limbs. Tail is lost, and finally it goes to that adult frog. So this is the process of life cycle of frog. So this is the picture about tadpole larva. Tadpole larva, which is closely look like a fish. It is a frog, but it is closely look like a fish because it is having the similar structure of the fish. In 7th class, the silkworm or silk moth life cycle you observed, in that we observed that many stages has like a frog. So this is called as copulation. So copulation in the sense the male and female frog. So when the male frog pressing against that abdominal portion of the female frog, obviously they can release the ovumes. So the male frog and female frog copulation period means fusion time. The male ones and the female ones, they can release the sperms and ovumes, and they can fuse outside of the female body. It is called as external fertilization. Then we come to that project work. So actually we are having the project work. So while coming to this project work, we are having the 5 steps. The step 1. So this is the step 1. Step 1 means it comes to that step 1, the collection of the eggs. So step 1 is coming to that eggs in the pond. So while we are going to that pond, don't go to that such a depth. Just we have to go to that nearby pond or lake, and we are observing the eggs of the frogs, and we are collecting the eggs in a water bottle or a transparent glass bottle along with the weeds. So step 1 is observing, go to a nearby pond or a slow flowing stream where usually the seaways stagnates during the rainy season. Collect a few eggs for with the help of the wide mouthed bottle as shown in the figure. So accordingly, we are collecting the eggs to that wide mouthed transparent glass bottle. Next, step number 2. After collecting the eggs, take a tub of it is nearly 15 centimeters depth and radius of 8 to 10 centimeters. Transfer the eggs along with these weeds and algae. So this is the tub. This is the tub of 15 centimeters depth and 8 centimeters radius. So this is the thing. Next one is to observe the tadpole. Take a transparent glass and fill some water. Take from the previous tub where the tadpoles are preserved for observation. Take a plastic dropper and fill some water along with a tadpole. So by this process, actually what we have collected the frogs, these eggs that we have to place on the beaker, along by using this dropper we are collecting this tadpole frog larvas. Next, so finally after completion of this the days, for example 1 to 3 days first, next 4 to 6 days, so 7 to 9 days, so they are given to that the days from 1 to 46 days. So nearly it takes the 45 to 46 days time duration. Such a long duration we are having the patience to observe this and to completion this project work. So for this they are given to the observation diagrams. So we need to support a study material to support this 3 days. They are given to that 1 to 3 days observation diagram. So let us focus on that 1 to 3 days. This is the diagram. Next, they are given to that 4 to 6 days. 4 to 6 days diagram observation. So this is the observation of 4 to 6 days eggs. So this is 1 to 3 days. This is 4 to 6 days. This is the 7 to 9 days. 7 to 9 days. Next to 10 to 12 days. 10 to 12 days. Next one is this is the picture about 13 to 15 days. 16 to 18 days. So 19 to 21 days. So 22 to 24 days. Next to 25 to 27 days. 28 to 30 days. I mean that every 3 days we have to observe that the collection of the eggs from the water. So next to 31 to 33 days. 34 to 36 days. Next to 37 to 39 days. 40 to 42 days. 42 to 44 days. 45 to 46 days. So after completion of 46 days duration, obviously the small eggs which are hatched out and which can be developed into embryo and tadpole larva, finally through the metamorphosis they can develop into adult frog, and again they have to start the life cycle. So let us coming to the textbook page number 64. So step number 5, to try to answer the questions after your observation. I mean after completion of this duration, mean to 1 to 46 days, they would like to ask some questions. How many days did you take for the eggs to hatch? As we shown to the 5 to 6 days hatching. Next, how does the tadpole look like? The tadpole, while we are observing the tadpole, it is just look like a fish which are respire with the gills and tails and fins. So it is just closely look like a fish. Next, when did you find gill slits in a tadpole? So after completion of the 6 days, 7th day onwards, they can start the gill slits respiration. On which dates did you observe that one? So based on the diagrams as shown in the study material just now. So based on that, we have to observe that heart starts from the 2nd week, intestine after 2 weeks, bones after completion of 18th day, Rectum, it is the part of the large intestine, last part we call as a rectum. So it is the 20th day. Hind limbs means back, and forelimbs means front. So front hands we call as a forelimbs, and hind limbs means back side. So 28th day hind limbs and forelimbs 30th day. So nearly after completion of a month, it is having the progressive development. This is called as a metamorphosis project work about these external fertilization like frog life cycle. So next we are having one more topic that we call as a dolly. Dolly actually is a cloned sheep. Dolly is a cloned sheep that we have to discuss in the next video along with the keywords and what are the points and the question answers we have to discuss in the next video. Thank you children. Thank you.